Research shows that your genes play a very, very minuscule role in whether you are going to live to be 100 years old or not. If you want to live to be happy, healthy, and loving life into a ripe old age, then follow these 13 tips to live to be 100 years old. Hi, I'm Dr. Devin Atkinson from Atkinson Family Chiropractic in Denver, North Carolina, and over the last 100 episodes, I have helped people take steps to get back to health. So because this is a milestone episode, we have hit number 100, I wanted to tell you the 13 things that you can do to live to be 100 years old. If you do all 13 of these things, you will greatly increase your chances of living to be 100 years old, and not only 100 years old, but 100 years old and loving life and being healthy and happy. Here's a picture of what I might look like at 100 years old. So, out of all the research that's been done, and there were many, over 100 studies that were looked at for this week's video. Out of all that research, these 13 tips. Number 1, limit your calories. Limit your daily calorie intake of food. You need to decrease your calories every day by between 10 and 50%. That will increase your lifespan, and that will also decrease disease. Your goal is every time you eat a meal, you should eat until you are 80% full. If you do that, you will help improve your life tremendously. The second tip, number 2, is to eat nuts. 1 serving of nuts per day. That's what you really want to do, but you need a minimum of 3 servings of nuts per week. It shows improvements in heart disease, high blood pressure, inflammation, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, belly fat, and some cancers. Tip number 3 is to consume turmeric. Turmeric is an antioxidant. It's also anti-inflammatory. It has improvements in your brain, your heart, your lungs. It improves people with cancer. It helps with age-related diseases. Turmeric Forte is a really high-quality supplement from Standard Process that you can get right here at the office. It has helped a lot of people with their inflammation. It will also help you live longer. Tip number 4 is to eat healthy plant foods. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and beans. It decreases the risk of disease and it increases your longevity. I'm not saying you have to be a vegetarian or a vegan. If you cut out all processed meats, I'm talking your hams, your turkeys, your sliced lunch meats, your bologna, which is probably the worst thing known to man. Cut out all processed meats. Just eat grass-fed, organic beef, all those grass-fed, naturally raised foods. If you do that for all of your meats, then you will have just as good of improvement in life as if you become a vegetarian. Tip number 5, you need to stay active. 15 minutes of increased activity per day can add up to 3 years to your life. You also decrease your risk of premature death by 4% for every additional 15 minutes per day. So huge. You need to stay active. Don't smoke. That's tip number 6. Don't smoke, or if you do smoke, stop smoking. Smokers lose up to 10 years of life and are 3 times more likely to die prematurely, but it's never too late to quit. If you quit by the age of 35 years old, you prolong your life up to 8.5 years. If you quit by your 60s, you prolong your life by up to 3.7 years. And if you quit in your 80s, you even have benefits to quit smoking. Just quit smoking if you are smoking, and never start if you have never started. Tip number 7, moderate your alcohol intake. If you are a drinker, you need to moderate that drinking. If you are not a drinker, don't start drinking because alcohol will not magically make you live longer. So here's a list of how much alcohol for males versus females and how much per day. So beer, 5% alcohol by volume beer. For men, you can have up to 36 ounces per day or up to 168 ounces per week. For women, you can have up to 24 ounces per day or up to 84 ounces per week. Next, we're going to go to wine, which wine is defined as 12% alcohol by volume. For men, you can have up to 15 ounces per day and up to 70 ounces per week. For women, you can have up to 10 ounces per day and up to 30 ounces per week. Finally, distilled spirits, which is up to 40% alcohol by volume. For men, 4.5 ounces per day and up to 21 ounces per week. For women, 3 ounces per day and up to 10.5 ounces per week. Now, like I said, you don't need to start drinking to be healthy, but if you are drinking a lot, you need to cut it back. Tip number 8 is to prioritize happiness. Happiness can decrease early death by about 3.7%. They did a study of nuns at 22 years old. The happiest nuns were 2.5 times more likely to live 60 years later than the unhappier nuns. Overall, happy people will live about 18% longer than their unhappy peers. Tip number 9, avoid chronic stress and anxiety. Stressed and anxious women are 2 times more likely to die from heart disease, stroke, or lung cancer. And stressed or anxious men are 3 times higher risk of death than men who are not stressed out. Laughter, optimism, and a positive outlook on life are the best ways to combat stress. Stop being a pessimist, because pessimistic people also have a 42% increased risk of early death. Tip number 10, nurture your social circle. You need social networks, and I'm not talking about Facebook or Instagram because those are just terrible, but I'm talking about actual human contact, being with people, talking to people, communicating with people. People who have active, healthy social circles live 50% longer than people who do not. Just having 3 social ties decreases your risk of early death by about 200%, and providing support is better than receiving support. So if you are always getting support from other people, start giving some back. You'll actually gain more benefits by giving support than you have been by getting support. Tip number 11 is be more conscientious. Self-disciplined, organized, efficient, and goal-oriented. They did a study of 1,500 kids that were considered persistent, organized, and disciplined, and guess what? They lived about 11% longer. So you need to start small, start by tidying up your desk, sticking to a plan, and being on time. Tip number 12 is drink coffee or tea. Tea and coffee drinkers have a 20 to 30% decreased risk of early death. You need less than 400 milligrams of caffeine or 4 cups of coffee per day. So I'm talking actual cups, 8 ounces, not the big giant mugs you're drinking. 6 hours is how long it takes caffeine to leave your body. So you need to stop drinking caffeine around lunchtime so that you can go into tip number 13, develop a good sleeping pattern. You need to go to bed and wake up around the same time every single day. Monday through Friday, you wake up at this time. Saturday and Sunday, you should wake up about the same time. Less than 5 to 7 hours of sleep per day is a 12% increase in early death, and greater than 8 to 9 hours per day is a 38% decreased lifespan. Your ideal is about 7 to 8 hours per day, so work on getting that sleep. If you have any questions for me, I have 100 episodes now, so go back and watch through videos. I am going to post on my website links to where you can get to a bunch of these different videos that deal with all the different 13 topics, because I've dealt with all these 13 topics and more over the last 100 episodes. But until then, have a wonderful day. Bye.